Hey, what's going on? Chad here, and I'm making this video a response to a claim that atheists often use in terms of trying to justify their atheism. And to tell you quite frankly, I'm just a little tired of it, and so I'm ready to bury this puppy. The claim goes like this. They say, absence of evidence is evidence of absence. And as far as I'm concerned, that just doesn't fly very far with me at all. And the reason I say this is because the atheist is not all-knowing. They don't know everything that's within this universe and everything that's outside of this known universe. And to simplify this, to make it understandable, I'll give it in an analogy. Alright? Suppose you and I were standing in a room. A very small room, it has no furniture whatsoever. And I ask you, hey, my atheist friend, is there a bird flying around in this room? The atheist friend, they could look around the room and they could say, no, I don't see any bird, so you know what? The absence of evidence is evidence of absence. There is no bird in this room. They can make a claim like that because they know everything that's within the room. But suppose I take that atheist friend to the edge of the Grand Canyon, and we're peering down into that Grand Canyon, and I ask my atheist friend, hey, is there a bird that's flying around down there in the Grand Canyon? Now, my atheist friend, they could look around and they could even use binoculars, but if they don't see a bird, it would be very, very foolish of them to say, no, there's no bird flying around in the Grand Canyon. Why? I think it's pretty obvious, because they don't have full knowledge of what's down there. So at best, our atheist friend would be able to say, I don't know if there's a bird flying around down there in the Grand Canyon. Now, take that into the grand scheme of things. The atheist, to be an atheist, it's a claim of knowledge. It's a claim there is no God. It's the exact opposite of being a theist, the claim that there is a God. Now, if there's atheists out there that are going to try and slip out of this one, out the back door and say, no, that's not what atheism is, I'm sorry, but that's really what atheism is. At rock bottom, the root meaning of the word, it means without God. No God. It is the negative to the theist's claim that there is a God. From the Greek word, you got alpha, without, theos, God. So there it is right there. And I personally think that atheism is intellectually indefensible. It really is, because they have to have full knowledge of everything that's within the universe and everything that's outside of the universe in order to make this claim that absence of evidence is evidence of absence. But as we've already showed with the bird flying around in the Grand Canyon, or even if you didn't see one down there, at best you could say, I don't know if there's a bird. It would be very foolish to say there is no bird. And for the person that says there is no God, I'm sorry, but that is a very foolish claim. And I think it's funny because atheists, they like to try and claim the intellectual high ground, but they make such a logical fallacy. It's such a logical error to even try and say there is no God. Now, to wrap things up, there is a fella by the name of Bertrand Russell. He is a very famous philosopher. He's hailed by atheists to be one of the great minds out there. And for you atheists out there that disagree with what I say, go ahead and just take it from Bertrand Russell. This is what he says. He says, I never know whether I should say agnostic or whether I should say atheist. It is a very difficult question, and I dare say that some of you have been troubled by it. As a philosopher, if I were speaking to a purely philosophic audience, I should say I ought to describe myself as agnostic, because I do not think that there is a conclusive argument by which one prove that there is not a God. So don't take it from me, take it up with Bertrand Russell. To claim that you are an atheist is simply foolish. It's not being intellectually honest. Bertrand Russell is one of the great minds out there, hailed by the atheist community, and he says that to really be intellectually honest, he would prefer to be called an agnostic.